You are tuned in to the best damn football recap and preview show going. It is United Football Media. Tell me about it. Brought to you by DAR Sports Media. One of these days, I swear to you, we're going to have the full crew all together all at once. It's like we have one piece one week and we don't have another piece another week. We got the most important guy this week, though, my man Drew, because he so happens to be a Broncos fan. And on top of that, along with me, we started off asking this question in the beginning of the year, and now it's like I'm kind of torn because the Chiefs being bad rocks, but at the same time, I get no better sleep. There is no better night of sleep than after watching the Chiefs eat shit. So I don't know if that's going to be the impact of that will be lessened as time goes on, and if they're not very good or what the deal is. Tell us your thoughts on the Broncos. Have the Broncos, did they take the crown? Did they take the Ulafala of the AFC West away from the Chiefs this past weekend?
It feels like it. I feel like that was the turning point in the season, right? I think they were already 8-2 going into this game, right? So you think, all right, this is the game where it all falls off, right? This is the game where they take an L. It's going to be, but it's that defense, man, that Broncos defense, man. Shout out to Vance Joseph. That the defense has been the calling card for the Broncos for ages, but it's different now. Honestly, this is almost reminiscent to me of 2016, like almost slightly reminiscent of that. I mean, there's obviously no Von Miller. Bo Nix is no Peyton Manning, although Peyton Manning was a noodle arm in 2016, well, 2015, 2016. So it's very similar to that in the way that the quarterback is not the guy you can fully rely on to get it done fully. You're not expecting Bo Nix to throw for 350, 3 touchdowns. You're not expecting that. But the defense, to hold the Chiefs to 19 points, to rattle Mahomes in the way that we saw, the truth is the Chiefs have such an unbalanced attack on offense. You got your Rashee Rices. Travis Kelce is obviously washed. He's not what he used to be. You got your other. Their receiving core is not where it needs to be. Their run game not what it needs to be. Pacheco hasn't been. He's on a milk carton. Kareem Hunt obviously not gonna. Kareem Hunt 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, sure. Now not looking that same way. So I think there comes a time where a team eventually gets knocked down. It gets knocked down. And I think we've all watched dynasties fall, dynasties crumble. And if we're being honest, the Patriots, even in their heyday, they went plenty of years without winning the championship. They went plenty of years with just not making it to the Super Bowl. And so this happens. This is football. I think we'll see how the Chiefs pan out the rest of the season. You know what I mean? But I think at 9-2, the Broncos defense, what can you say? There's not much more you can really say. The Broncos defense stepped up big when it counted. They got it done. I was concerned. I thought the Chiefs were going to run away with it. It was like 19-19. And I was like, here we go. Something bad's going to happen. Somehow the Chiefs going to pull it off. That devil magic that Mahomes and company usually find. But they're 5-5 now, and they have a huge, massive game this week coming up. And I don't know if I trust them to win that game. So with that being said, if they go to 5-6, there is a very real possibility of them not even being in the wild card for the playoffs. I mean, if the Chargers continue to win, the Steelers are there. The Ravens are knocking at the door. The Ravens are 5-5 now. They were 1-5 not that long ago. And their schedule is very cushy, very nice for them. The Jaguars are right there. So there's so many teams knocking on the door for the playoffs that it's kind of like, hey, who do you look to for the Chiefs to overtake?
Right there in your backyard. It's sounding a lot like old Joey Burrow might be on his way back, possibly this week.
Yeah, he's full participant in practice.
That's another one.
I'll be honest, I don't see that becoming a thing. But I mean, they have confidence, right? I think Joe Flacco gave him some confidence, right? Flacco gave him that confidence that we can still compete, and once we get our guy back, we definitely can compete. Now, obviously, they got the Eventually, the Bengals and the Ravens are coming up, right? I feel like that's Thanksgiving, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. That's to me, that's gonna be a game that really decides who wins what, who takes what. The Bengals did not look great against the Steelers this week, but at the end of the day, I'm glad. Um, you know, I'm pretty glad that the Bengals took a L. Can't wait for the eventual collapse of the Steelers because it's like we're right on the cusp of that collapse. That 9-8 Mike Tomlin season is right there. We're right there on the cusp of it, where they just do just good enough to like maybe squeak in, but not good enough to really do much or win a division. So yeah, in terms of that, I think the Chiefs have a lot to be worried about right now. I said it a while back, a couple like some weeks ago on the Medium site. Should the Chiefs be worried? Should they be panicking right now? And I said, nah, because maybe, but their schedule is not. They don't have a super tough schedule, but it's not cushy. It's not easy. Easy. I use quotations when I say easy on paper, like some of these other teams. And like I said, they're right there. They're on the bubble of the wild card, and if you're on the bubble and you got teams that have a slightly better schedule than you, then especially none of us expected to be here, where like the Colts are atop the AFC South, the Broncos are with a very comfortable AFC West, especially in terms of the Chiefs. They have a very comfortable lead on that division. We weren't expecting that. Now I think that is what makes the difference. You just weren't expecting it to be as clear cut right now. Let's look at the AFC East. Everybody, everybody had the Buffalo Bills
Yeah.
coming out of there and dominating that like they have mostly been, right? Because
Hmm.
and although I know the Bills won this week against the Buccaneers, I am still not, and I know Eric, you're not. I'm still not on the. I'm not there with it. It
No, I've
just
seen enough.
doesn't.
I've
Yeah,
seen enough.
yeah,
Them,
yeah.
them. And I don't want to harp on the same things every single week because I said it last week. Them and the Packers, man, just they're both like media pushed, media darlings. Everybody just defaults to them. It ain't happening.
I think with the Bills, man, like they were going shot for shot, bro. Like shot for shot with the Buccaneers, and this is a Buccaneers team that's missing a significant amount of
Yeah,
important players on offense. So if you're and I really believe the Buccaneers had ample chances to do it. And shout out to Baker Mayfield though
there
because
was
he's doing what he can with what
yeah
he's got.
there
And
was a feller wearing number 44 taking it to the house on the Bills this past weekend. Number
yeah,
44. That
and
tells you the state of the Bills' run defense. There's a guy down there wearing number 44. Like this is
yeah,
1957 going
and
going to the house.
yeah, and so I will say for the Bills, I guess the thing is that you don't have a lot of proven teams that are in prime position right now for the playoffs, and you have a little bit more playoff experience, but that doesn't really mean anything when it's any given Sunday, one game, one win, you're out. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
the Bills defense could get taken by surprise against the Broncos, against the Colts, against the Patriots, and you're out of there. And if you're not going to probably get that top spot, to avoid the wild card. So if that's the case,
that's more chances
uh,
to lose. Yep.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the other big thing that coming out of this weekend, one thing that's burning up the Twitter sphere, the airwaves, is Shador Sanders finally getting into the game for the Cleveland Browns this past weekend. It looked like a fan won a contest and they put him out there on the field in pads. That's about how things went.
Yeah.
But full week of starter reps this week. Full week with the adjustments. They're going against the Raiders, who, as if you've been keeping track of the NFL, not really the biggest world beaters in the world. I think this is a solid. And I do want to say there's two sides to this, right? Because on the one hand, people right. I've been very outspoken about the Shador thing, but people are working really hard to create possible scandals or sedition against him, conspiracies against him from what happened last week. Although I will say, as an offensive lineman, if you have any sort of pride or dignity in your life whatsoever, if the fact that people are using your performance as video evidence of, look at this conspiracy, they're not blocking for him on purpose, that means you probably did a pretty shitty job. Maybe you should have a little pride and step up this week. But I saw a lot of people who revealed themselves to have never played organized sports and organized football ever before in their lives, because there was backup quarterbacks, career backup quarterbacks from the NFL revealing, because the big knock was like, I can't believe Shador hasn't gotten any starter reps ever this whole time. And then they had backup quarterbacks like, well, that's how it works in the NFL. Like, your starters get all of the reps. And I said, that ain't how it works just in the NFL. That's how it works all the way down to high school. The way it works is, you want to have good backups. The backups do a shell version of the schemes that you're going to see in the game that week, so that the starting offense and the starting defense can practice against those schemes. That's why it's called practice. What do you think NFL teams are doing at practice? But practicing against the schemes of the other team that they will be seeing. Obviously, it's not the exact plays, except in some situations it is, because you have players that just played for the team the year before. But it's the stuff that they see on tape, the types of schematic things that they see on tape. The coaches install that, and the backup players stand in for the other team. It's called scout team. And your starters get all of the reps, because you want as much preparation against those core schemes that the other team runs as you can possibly get throughout the week, so that in the game you can recognize it without thinking about it and make the right plays. So no backup. Maybe one or two or three, but generally no, backups don't get any starter reps, because the starter needs to practice against the schemes of the other defense. So they need all of the reps they can possibly get, because you don't plan on your backups having to play. That's why a lot of times you see backups get into games. Sometimes they look a little overwhelmed. It's not because they're not talented players, but they've been focusing on doing their job. And it's also a reason why backups deserve a lot of credit when teams go to the playoffs, when teams win a Super Bowl. A lot of those backups have been the dudes on the other side, giving their starters a good look at the schemes they're going to face all week and getting them well prepared to perform well in the games. And that's why those guys damn sure should get rings, and damn sure should get congratulated when the team wins a championship as well. All of this is to say, the conspiracy theory stuff was absolute nonsense, but I am excited to see Shador with a full week of reps, a full week of practice, a full week of getting put in as the starter, getting his rhythm with his receivers and his guys. Shador laughed it off. He said, hell yeah, me and the backup receivers, we know what's going on. We got each other. We know each other. We got our chemistry down. That's why we're out there smoking the starting defense. He was kind of laughing, like talking crap about it, right? He's like, I know my dudes. I know where they're going to be. And I'm just not used to the starting receivers yet, and the starting line and the protections and all that. So ready to see him with a full week of practice against the Raiders, who passed on him 1,100 times, who clearly could use a little bit of hope at the quarterback position on their side, because they ain't got no juice.
Man.
Thoughts on this game coming up? Well, thoughts on Ravens Browns, and then thoughts on this game coming up. Also, the Ravens stink. It's over. Go ahead.
No. The Ravens. I wish all of the people were on here. Namely, Apollo. I wish he was here. But the Ravens. Yeah, man. It's not the Ravens year. It won't be the Ravens year. And you know what? That's fine. We needed a little boost, right? We needed something different from the Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs being the top three in the AFC and everybody. Like, we kind of needed something different. And granted, I kind of wish it didn't have to be the Broncos, Colts, and the Patriots. That's taking me back to 20, whatever. But I think when you look at what Shador did, obviously, terrible start for him, terrible. But that's what happens when you get thrown in the fire like that. But we also know his limitations. We watched him in Colorado, watched his limitations, saw what he can do, what he can't do, and what he excels at. He spends way too much time with the ball, and that's not going to fly with this Cleveland Browns offense. It's not going to fly at all with the play coordinating. So, I think going against the Raiders, obviously the Browns defense should have a field day. against that Browns. I mean, against that Raiders offense. But Shador should be a lot more poised, a lot more focused, and he should make a lot better, lot of decisions. His should be better in this game. But if it's not, and it's still more of what we saw, then we do have to have that conversation. Like, okay, I mean, it's only a second go at it, but the Raiders, like like the Raiders, and
You
then
would like to see some
yeah,
progress for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, not even a lot of progress. If you could just come out with the win, or at least get a couple touchdowns, like that's it, just to show some promise, to not look as bad as you look, against a horrible Ravens defense. But that's a whole different conversation, and one that, like I said, I know my hometown is not going to be too happy about if I say the truth, because right now there are people who are in my group chats and in my phone, and they're back home, and they're like, "Hey, man, 5-5, they coming up." And I was like, "Have you seen these games? Have you watched? Have you seen what we like?" It's
They're
just a
coming up
cushy
all right.
schedule.
Yeah.
It's a cushy schedule. You
Something's
get yeah.
coming up on the horizon
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, so even if they make the playoffs, make the wild card, you don't expect this. I mean, don't get me wrong. Lamar and Derrick Henry together could probably get you something, right? They could probably get
Yeah.
you a couple, get you a win, at least in the wild card, surprise somebody that's ranked, like that finishes higher. There's always that possibility, but the defense, you're not gonna win. Defense wins championships. We talk about this all the time, and that Baltimore Ravens defense is just not it. And it sucks because the Ravens calling card for years was their defense. Then they got a quarterback who could do so many great things like Lamar. Then they got a running back who's a legend in his own right, like Derrick Henry. And now the defense is crap. So that's where we are now. Yeah, man. Like I said, just because they won over the Browns, people are like, "Yeah, they won, man. They won. They on a winning streak right now." Reality will soon hit again, like it did when they were 1-5. And that's all I can say.
Anything else stand out to you this past weekend in the NFL?
Not really. The Rams and Seahawks game. Oh well, I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. Will, I'm sorry. All season, just like last season, we're waiting patiently.
I was gonna say this right on our other show, Tay with Daniel Jones. He said, "I don't care if he throws 50 touchdowns. You will never pull the wool over my eyes with Daniel Jones. It ain't happening. I don't care." That's how I am, and I think that's how you are with Sam Darnold. I don't care if he
Absolutely.
throws 50 touchdowns. I don't care. Everybody was ready to build a statue after he whooped on this busted ass, injured, underachieving, regressing Washington Commandos defense. Everybody was ready to. It was on Sam Darnold MVP. I said, okay, you just wait. Because Seattle fans, y'all deserve nothing but the worst to happen to you. That's one thing. Y'all deserve nothing but bad in life. That's one. Two, it's Sam Darnold. It's Sam Darnold. The day was coming, and here we go. We saw that face. That face we're also familiar with, the Sam Darnold face. Cheeseburgers and chili cheese burritos getting thrown all over the place. Just wobbling through the air. Interception.
That was one of the worst performances I think I've watched in quite some time. And I gotta say, man, like the fact that the Rams just escaped with that win, and that by escaped, I do mean escape, because it wasn't like even with the Darnold mistakes, they still were not, so interesting situation they got there in the NFC West. So, I'm curious to see what happens next for the Rams. Seahawks, I'm sure Darnold will bounce back, and then they'll get some more wins, and looks like they're kind of headed towards playoff, but we still got a lot of season left. It don't feel like it, but we still got a lot of season left. Anything can happen, especially when you got the Chicago Bears
first place, baby,
perched at the top.
It's a shame that Tay couldn't be in it, because I don't know how many weeks that's going to last, and this could have been his big receiving his flowers week.
Colts and Chiefs, that's the game for me to look out for. Eagles and Cowboys is also a funny one, just because Shout out, hey man! Look, I wish nothing but the worst. Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. Type of hatred for the Cowboys, but hey man, you got CD, you got George Pickens. That's a hell of a 1-2 right there. Hey, that's a hell of a 1-2. I mean, Dak is Dak, so I don't expect him to make no run at the playoffs like that right now. But they always seem to turn up when they play against the Eagles. So, and the Eagles, I was not impressed by that win over the Lions. So, really interested to see how that turns
Just
out.
bowling shoe ugly every week, man.
Yeah, like, hey man, a win is a win. You get it done. That's all that matters. But it's just when you go up against a team, or you can get caught slipping by a team you don't expect
Yeah,
to lay you out. And so I'm interested to see that. But the Colts and Chiefs game, to me, this is the breaking point. This
yeah,
is it for the Chiefs.
yeah.
If the
It's a
Chiefs,
great measuring stick for the Colts because we're still kind of like, are they or aren't they?
well,
Should we believe in this? And then I think this is full measuring stick, right? Because you usually say, well, it's a regular season game, but for the Chiefs, it ain't just a regular season game. If the
yeah,
Chiefs lose this game, they're looking at a real uphill climb. So I think this is every bit damn near as important as a postseason game for the
absolutely,
Chiefs to try and pick up this win. So they're going to give it everything that they got. And so we're going to see what the Colts really are made of. Really quick on the Eagles, man. I watched them and I watched their offense just fight itself and have fits. Oh, by the way, the Lions stopped the tush push like 3 times on Monday Night Football. Can we all stop crying about it now, please? Y'all get have some shame, have some dignity. Compose yourselves. Watching them have fits and fight themselves down the field, play after play after play, it just makes it hurt so much more that the 49ers had to have such terrible injury luck this year. I mean, who knows? They're still winning. They're going to get some guys back. Who the hell knows? But there's just really the NFC is like really wide open. It feels like this year. The Eagles' defense is amazing. It might end up by the time it's all said and done by the end of this year being all time. We might be talking about that in the all time context. I think because they are excellent week in and week out.
absolutely.
But with an offense that's struggling the way it is, it's you're always susceptible. It's so much pressure to put on one side of the ball. So you're always susceptible to something crazy happening, somebody edging it out. The Lions still had an opportunity at the end of that game.
They
So
did.
it's always a dangerous scenario. So I agree with you on that. And yeah, big time. Colts and Chiefs.
Hey, also, you mentioned your 49ers. Low key,
Oh, that's
uh,
going to be a heater. I'm excited.
yeah,
I'm excited
low
for Monday
key.
night. Well, I'm excited and
Yeah,
I'm not because, as somebody with my love for the Niners, like it's hard to watch the defense, but at the same time, it's awesome to see our guy Bryce Young coming along. We have been
Panthers,
talking about
man.
this on our pods since the beginning. It's awesome to see a young man who people tried to throw dirt on over and over and over. It looked like it was over multiple times coming down the stretch. He throws for damn near 500 yards last week, breaks Cam Newton's single game record, had an excellent game, rolling in against a very, very susceptible 49ers defense. Obviously, the 49ers whooped the dog shit out of the Cardinals last week, but the Cardinals also gave them 17 penalties and a turnover and a kick return touchdown. There was a lot going on in that game. I'm not trying to take anything away from the Niners because
Yeah,
they did what they were supposed to do. It was indeed an ass whooping on the scoreboard, but at the same time, they did allow over 40 completions. Jacoby Brissett set the single game record for completions in a game in that game, going up against Bryce Young, who's coming around. This might be a coming out game. I don't know what that Panthers defense is going to do with the Niners offense if things are rounding into health and they get good protection and Brock Purdy's feeling good. Ricky Pearsall's back. It might be a tough day for them as well. I'm expecting a fun game. I hope everybody just has fun and nobody gets hurt. Talk to me about it.
man, I think this game is gonna be fun. Like I'll give the Panthers that they are fun. Shout out to
Yeah,
Rico, man. Shout out
yeah,
to
hell yeah.
Rico. Shout out to T Mac. They got some guys over there and just offensively that they can rely on, depend on. Shout out to my man Xavier, man. Xavier, I judged him when he went in the post game last year and said he was eating raccoon. So I judged him a little bit when he said that and he was talking about that. But he's been. If you know how Vegas works, Vegas has his line so low. Like
So he's
in
making some
terms of
money this year, is what you're saying.
yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, a touchdown for him is a plus 500, and he's been very consistent with
Beautiful.
that. And I think
Yeah.
so. That's something you look at and you go, man, this is a guy. So like, but even outside of it, they don't have to be pretty wins, and the Panthers' wins have been most of them have not been pretty at all. And I think that's the mark though of a team that has enough grit to surprise someone if you make it into the playoffs because you're playing from down here in your mind. Nobody believes in us, but we do. We know that it's the
And
typical
it's a very
underdog
young
story.
team too. Both,
Yeah.
one receiver is in his second year. The other receiver's a rookie. Bryce
Yep.
Young, we know his story. He's still a very young player. Rico, it's his first opportunity to really start and get
Yeah.
big time carries and touches. So it's a very young and up and coming team. So you can develop the chemistry and the
Absolutely.
confidence as you go along in the season.
It's gonna go a long way for them because, like you said, this is a young team. If you take what you built upon, let's say they make it to the wild card, lose in the first game or something like that, you can take that though, confidently come back and say, "Hey, man, we got something. We just need to shore up this. We just need to work on this defense. We just need to work on this. Maybe add one more piece here." And if you can do that, you can make a run. I mean, who would have thought when we talked about the NFC South? We
Yeah.
were not expecting this to be a arms race. Like this is
Yeah.
a battle. People were saying the Falcons maybe. No one believes in the Saints, which is fine because you shouldn't. But like I don't think any of us. It's maybe Sean did. Maybe Sean. Shout out to Sean.
Yeah, but
He has.
Sean believes in them every year, no matter what's
Yeah,
going
he does.
on.
But like he believed, and it's like eventually those delusions of grandeur eventually
There you
become
go.
reality. And
Unless you're
so
a
shout
Jets
out
or
to
a
him.
Browns fan.
I got a take on the Jets this week because they're going against
Speaking
the
of,
Ravens.
real quick, because you brought it up, we'll do your Jets take, man. Speaking of throwing dirt, Michael Penix, bro, that was
It's over, man.
risky.
It's
That was
over.
risky. You said it's over. That was risky when it happened. He is on. I believe Schefter said. I might be wrong here. I believe Schefter said he is missing his 5th out of 8 years with a knee injury. That was
ACL,
part of the
man.
risk when they traded up to get him. So you got creaky knees Penix and blown Achilles Kirk. That's like 3 first-round draft picks and $100 million of quarterback. That's just chopped meat, chopped beef sitting over there. And on top of everything, they also traded their first-round pick this upcoming year to I almost said the F word, the Rams. So on top of everything that the Rams are right now, they also are probably going to get a top 10, if not top 5 pick. Who
Insanity,
knows if
man.
they have the ammunition to possibly move in the top 3 and get a new quarterback, get one of the top quarterbacks and have the plan ready to go for when Stafford leaves. El Terrible, Terry Fontenot, you suck. What's your Jets take?
I think this Jets and Ravens game is going to be very close. I could see the Jets
Oh,
surprising the Ravens just because the Ravens suck and they just. I mean,
yeah.
the Jets don't have a horrible defense.
The
I
Jets
be
don't have a
clear.
horrible roster. I
They
don't know what the
don't.
hell's
So
going on over there. You
it's
look at this
just
Ravens team; they can't defend the run. The Jets got Brees Hall. What do we run the ball?
So I mean, if they had somebody to throw the ball to like Garrett Wilson, this probably be a different conversation. But clearly they don't. So I don't
Adonai
know,
Mitchell
man.
too. He's getting open play after
Yeah,
play after play.
look. At the end of the day, the Ravens are just not as good as people in my hometown want them to be, and that's fine. They don't have to be. That's fine. But I think the Jets will make this a game. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I don't think the Ravens have that kind of firepower right now to make that a
Okay.
blowout. And I still think the Ravens will escape with a win just because the Jets find hilarious ways to lose, even when they have a chance.
Yeah, true
So
that.
I still think they'll find a way to lose, but I think if the Jets did somehow win by a field goal, I would not be surprised.
Well,
I
because
would
the
not be.
Ravens. Okay, so I guess this is where we're looking at some betting stuff here, because the Ravens are favored 13.5.
No,
No, sir.
don't take it. Don't
Do
take
not.
that. Don't buy. So see, this is so. I'll give you an example, right? And this is a different sport example, but like in the NBA, while we're recording this, the Warriors and the Heat were playing, right? They have first half spreads. In the first half, they had the Heat by like 14.5. At halftime, the Warriors were down like 6 or 7. I don't know what it is now, but they were down like 6 or 7 points. When you see games that are supposed to be lopsided, rarely these days, it rarely goes that way. It's very rare. The games that are lopsided are the ones that's supposed to be close. That's how it goes. So you got to be very careful about some of these things. The way Vegas does, Vegas is very tricky. Especially when people are like, oh, the Jets, man, they suck, and the Ravens they won 4 straight, or they won however many games. Like, have you seen the games that they've won? Have you
Do
seen how they won?
Do you know the hardest situation to cover in football? When you can't stop the run, because it shortens the game. And when you're playing with a big point spread and you're trying to cover, you're not just playing against the other team, you're playing against time itself.
Yeah.
So if you can't stop the run and the other team is running the ball effectively, it is shortening the game. It is giving you less time to cover. So I guess that means that True's lead pipe lock of the century of the week is Xavier Legette touchdown and Jets plus 14.5. I think that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. I think well 49ers, I mean, maybe y'all could stop him from getting to the end zone. I don't know. I haven't looked at everything. I will say this.
Total points in that game. I'd take that.
I will say, you know what? If I have to make a betting pick, I will say take Jonathan Taylor for 2 touchdowns this week.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, you definitely should take him for 2 touchdowns, because the Chiefs don't really know how to slow down a good run, and there's from my book, there's nobody better than Jonathan Taylor this year on that ground. So
hell no.
I think that's something to look out for. I would also say you might keep your eyes on I think that's going to be a high scoring game, personally, the Colts and the Chiefs. So I think keep your eye on Michael Pittman or Tyler Warren for a touchdown too. Old man Kelsey maybe as well. Like if somebody wants to go crazy with a parlay, that might be the game to do it. I think defense is the side. I just think it's going to be a firepower back and forth. But Jonathan Taylor is going to be the crux of that game. And honestly, you might want to put Panthers and 49ers, also another game. There's a couple money games this week.
I just looked. The total points is 48.5 for Niners Panthers. Shoot, you tease that down to 46.5. Feeling pretty damn good about that. So I might have to look into that parlay we just discussed, right?
Yeah.
Xavier Legette, anytime touchdown. Jets plus 14.5. Niners Panthers total over 46.5. Little teasers, little parlay action. I kind of like it. We will be any points, any performance metric that you can think of, take the over with DAR Sports Media and United Football Media. We are here for you wherever you guys are watching. If you're watching it on DAR Sports Media, if you're watching on United Football Media, we thank you guys a ton. If you're on the UFM, check out the college football show as well. Go back and look at Posh Clevender. She had her debut video about the Columbus Aviators, the new Ohio UFL team. Check out her entry into United Football Media. Furthermore, on that, if you're watching this on DAR Sports Media, me and Drew are going to have a new medium backup episode coming up in the next 6 or 7 days or so. We got to figure out the schedule, but we will have something for you to enjoy your walk during Thanksgiving or your drive to your family's house, wherever that may be for Thanksgiving. We'll have something good for you. Media, non-sports based. Those seem to do great numbers on our page, and we'll have something cool for you coming up next week. So look out for all of that. This is United Football Media. Tell me about it.